Tokyo was full of life. Lights danced across the skyline. Cars moved like blood through the veins of the giant city. People laughed, worked, lived. It was just another normal evening, until it WASN's single quotes to at exactly 8:13 p.m. local time, everything changed. In the middle of a traffic jam near Shibuya Crossing, a woman screamed, not because of fear, not because of pain, but because the street in front of her had vanished. The building that was standing there just 1 second ago was gone. It didn't explode. It didn't fall. It simply stopped existing. Before anyone could react, the entire block disappeared. Then the next and the next. Within 5 seconds, Tokyo wasn't there anymore. From space, it looked like a clean hole carved out of the earth. No smoke, no heat, no trace of life. The land was smooth, almost polished. Satellites around the world picked it up instantly. Military radars blinked with confusion. Air traffic control went silent as dozens of flights lost contact. At the United Nations Emergency Command Room, alarms screamed. General Malik from Pakistan looked at the big screen. His voice shook. Tokyo is deleted. World leaders gathered within hours. No nuclear signature, no meteor strike, no seismic activity. Nothing to explain it. Just a massive silent crater, where one of Earth's most advanced cities once stood. Some believed it was a new weapon. Some believed it was a natural event no one had ever seen before. But the truth was worse. Commander Ria Carter had seen many strange things in her time. She once flew a mission through a solar flare. She once negotiated with a rogue AI that controlled a lunar mining base. But nothing she had experienced prepared her for this. She stood in front of a holographic screen at the Global Space Defense Hub in Geneva. Her eyes stared at the signal pattern blinking from the center of Tokyo's crater. "It's not noise," she said calmly. "It's language." She was pulled out of retirement for this. 5 years ago, Ria left the military, after her last mission led to the death of her entire crew. Since then, she trained cadets and wrote books on tactical warfare. But when Tokyo vanished, the world needed someone with her mind, her instincts, her cold focus under pressure. The signal repeating from the Tokyo crater wasn't a cry for help. It wasn't random, it was a sequence, numbers and pulses, too perfect to be natural. As her team ran the signal through decoders, something terrifying became clear. The signal matched a transmission detected 10 years ago on Mars. That old transmission came from a place called Deepwell Station, a research facility buried under the Martian ice. It was believed to be caused by an ancient rock formation. At least, that's what the report said. But now, the exact pattern was blinking from Earth. Ria looked at the report again. The scientist who filed it, Dr. Kellen Roach, had disappeared shortly after. His last words in the log, "It's watching us." That night, the world didn't sleep. 3 days later, Berlin vanished. Same pattern, same silence, gone in under 5 seconds. The panic was worldwide now. Flights stopped. Power grids shut. Down in fear of digital attacks, people ran from cities, believing they might be next. But it didn't matter. The third city was Cape Town, then came New York. 4 cities, for different continents, all gone in the exact same way. And each time, the strange signal followed that it was too clean, too exact. No destruction, just deletion. Commander Ria gathered a special unit. Scientists, engineers, signal analysts, hackers, people who thought differently. One of them, a young coder named Juno, made a discovery. "The signal," she said nervously. "It's scanning us." Ria raised an eyebrow. "Explain." Juno showed her the pulse patterns. Every time a city is erased, the signal changes slightly, like it's learning, updating, mapping our world. Ria asked the big question, why? The answer came from the oldest satellite in orbit, one that was barely working anymore. It picked up a strange structure forming in Jupiter's atmosphere inside the red storm. It wasn't natural. It looked like a giant machine, growing, changing shape. The scans were blurry, but something was building itself inside the gas giant. And the city signals, they were being copied, imprinted, as if Earth's cities were being uploaded. Ria stood in the dark command room, looking at all the data. "They're not destroying us," she said. "They're collecting us." Everyone stared at her in silence. "Like a blueprint," Juno whispered. "They're copying Earth." At that moment, another signal echoed from the Tokyo crater. This time, it was louder, stronger. It spread across Earth's entire satellite network. It overpowered radio, internet, and even military channels. The signal spoke, but not in words. It sent images, flashes of light, symbols no one could understand. But in every image, there was one common shape, a sphere, floating in a sea of stars, then breaking apart. Ria stared at the screen, her voice cold. "That's us." Later that night, as the world tried to calm down, Rhea met with the defense council. "There's no time left," she said. "They've taken 4 cities. They won't stop." The head of the council, an old man named Alvarez, leaned forward. "Then what do you propose, Commander?" Rhea turned to the screen, showing the old files labeled P7. It was an experimental weapon project once shut down, plasma-based, never tested. "Too dangerous. We call them plasma comets," she said. "And it's time we bring them back." The room went silent. One man asked, "What if this starts a war?" Rhea looked at him. "It already started. We just didn't see the first shot." As the meeting ended, Rhea walked alone to her ship dock. Her mind replayed the images, the signals, the silence of 4 missing cities. She looked up at the night sky. "They erased our cities," she whispered. "Let's see how they handle fire." Behind her, a screen flashed red. Another city had gone dark. The red surface of Mars stretched out forever, cold and silent. Windstorms moved across its plains, but no one heard them. Deep under the planet's icy soil, something had been buried for a long time. Something that didn't belong to humans. Commander. Rhea's boots hit the Martian dust as she stepped out of the drop shuttle. Her team followed. 3 soldiers, 2 scientists, and 1 AI drone named Iris hovered above them. The team had come to visit an old, abandoned research site, Deepwell Station. 10 years ago, a man named Dr. Kellen Roach had worked here. His last message said, "It's watching us." Then he vanished. No one paid attention back then. It said he had lost his mind, but now 4 cities on Earth were gone. And the strange signal repeating from the craters matched the data Roach left behind. Something from here had started it all. The steel doors of Deepwell were covered in Martian dust. They forced it open and walked inside. The airlock creaked and lights flickered dimly. Rhea moved first, her hand on her weapon. The halls were full of dust. Rust covered the walls. The place had been silent for a decade. They found Dr. Rocha's lab in the lower levels. Inside, his voice still lived, recorded in thousands of logs. His notes, wild and detailed, filled the room. Diagrams of strange orbs, symbols that didn't match any human language, pulse charts, maps of Earth. "This guy was obsessed," said Sergeant Dax, one of Rhea's security men. Rhea picked up a small black device. It was humming softly. The AI drone, Iris, floated down and scanned it. "Commander," she said, "this signal is still active. It's sending data to deep space." Rhea's heart tightened to where Iris beeped and showed the location. The coordinates pointed to a dark area near Jupiter. It was the same zone where they saw the strange machine building itself inside the great red spot. Rhea ordered the logs downloaded. As they watched the old videos of Dr. Roach, something became clear. He had discovered an alien probe buried 90 meters below the Martian surface. It had no entry point, no seams, and it was still functioning. He believed it was not from this galaxy. One log showed him holding a scanner near the object. It sent out a soft pulse. That pulse matched the exact signal heard from the Tokyo crater. "Roach," it said, "it's not a weapon, it's a messenger." Rhea leaned closer. "A messenger to who?" Another log explained more. Roach had traced the object's frequency and found echoes of it on Earth, places with old legends, lost cities, ancient disappearances. "They've been studying us for centuries," he said in the recording. "Each time we grew, they erased parts. Now they're coming to complete the pattern." The team looked around the lab in silence. Scientist Lena, part of Rhea's crew, pointed to one symbol Roach had drawn again and again, a perfect circle, cut by 4 lines. It looked like a compass, or a target. Rhea asked Iris to match the symbol to Earth. Maps. The result was chilling. It matched the layout of Earth's cities. Not one city, all of them across continents, as if Earth had been laid out like a puzzle. Someone or something was collecting the pieces. Suddenly, the ground shook. Lights flickered. "Movement detected," Iris said. In the lower vault, it followed the signal, down 3 levels of broken stairs. The vault door was sealed shut, but it wasn't locked anymore. Someone or something had recently opened it. Inside, the air felt wrong, heavy, as if it didn't belong to the planet. In the center of the vault was the alien probe. It was no longer buried. It stood on a raised platform, floating slightly off the ground. It pulsed with soft blue light, humming in rhythm. A rhythm they all recognized. It was the signal from the erased cities. "Get the data," Rhea ordered. Lena moved forward with the scanner. The probe reacted instantly. It flashed and changed color. Iris warned. Signal increasing. Unknown energy build up. The lights went out. In the darkness, they heard a voice. not through speakers. Inside their heads. You are not the architects. Everyone froze. Then the voice came again. Your structure is incomplete. Completion will proceed. Resistance is error. The probe sent out a sharp wave. Rhea's vision blurred. One soldier screamed and collapsed. Rhea pulled her pistol and fired. The bullet passed through the probe like it wasn't solid. Suddenly the vault began to collapse. Rocks fell. Sirens screamed. Evacuate, she shouted. They ran up the stairs. As explosions echoed behind them, dust filled the air. The AI drone Iris beeped wildly. One of the scientists didn't make it. The roof crushed him. The rest escaped to the surface just in time. The entire Deepwell station collapsed into the ground. Gone. They got back to orbit and returned to the command ship in silence. Later, Rhea sat in the war room. She watched the decoded message they got from the probe. Juno had cleaned it up and turned it into an image. The alien machine near Jupiter was clearer now. It wasn't just a factory, it was alive. A mix of metal and organics, with spires, glowing veins, and city-like towers. It was breathing. It's not a copy, Juno said. It's a rebirth. They're using our cities as a design to make something new. Rhea stared at it. They're not just collecting Earth, she said. They're replacing us. A timer began on the screen. A new signal had started from the machine. 30 days. That's how long Earth had before completion. Rhea looked at the last file from deep. A design left behind by Dr. Roach. Something he wanted the world to build. A weapon. It was labeled Plasma Comet Prototype A.7. It used star-core energy. Light hotter than the sun. It moved like a comet but could think like a drone. It could melt moons. It had been banned before because it was too wild. Rhea sent a message to Earth's top space labs. Build it, she said. One of the generals replied, what if it backfires? Rhea answered without blinking. Then at least we'll go down firing. Far above, in deep space, the alien machine opened a new chamber. Inside it, the shape of a new city formed. It looked exactly like New York, but it wasn't made by humans. The machine inside Jupiter was alive now. It spun slowly, glowing with colors that had no names. The clouds of the red spot moved around it like servants. Towers stretched upward from its body, shaped like Earth's cities, but not built by human hands. They were smoother, perfect. Wrong. Commander Rhea Carter watched the scans from orbit. Her jaw tightened. They've copied the heart of New York, said Lena, her chief scientist. But they added something. The screen zoomed in. The buildings weren't buildings anymore. They had tendrils. They breathed. A black mist covered their walls. It's a living city, Rhea whispered. Not for humans. For them. The alien machine was using the structure of Earth's cities as a base, but evolving them into something else. Juno entered the room, her face pale. We found more cities missing. Smaller ones, this time hidden. Where? Rhea asked. 2 in South America. 1 in Central Asia. 1 just outside of Moscow. Same method. Gone in 5 seconds. Rhea stared at the wall screen where a blinking red dot appeared each time a city vanished. It was no longer random. They're filling in the blueprint, she said, like pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. The images from the Martian probe played again in her mind. The alien voice. The message. You are not the architects. Resistance is error. They weren't just deleting Earth's cities. They were using them. Earth was the test run and time was running out. Rhea called an emergency command. Across all nations, she stood in front of the world's leaders via hologram. We have 26 days left before full structure completion. Once it's done, we don't know what happens, but it won't be good. Some leaders hesitated, others panicked. Some argued that firing weapons at Jupiter would anger the unknown force. Others feared it might destroy the solar system. We either fight, Rhea said, or be replaced. She showed them the prototype, Plasma Comet A7, a weapon once considered too dangerous to ever use. The Comet was a long, spear-shaped drone, wrapped in plasma energy, powered by a captured star-core fragment. It didn't just explode. It burned through space-time. It could think. It could hunt. It was the most powerful human weapon ever imagined. Now they were going to launch it. Construction began on Titan, Saturn's moon. Plasma engineers worked day and night. Robots rebuilt forgotten labs. Security bots watched for alien spies. Rhea moved her base to Titan to oversee the operation. The comet would take 12 hours to reach Jupiter once launched. It had to hit the center of the alien machine, or it would do nothing. Meanwhile, on Earth, panic spread. People left cities in waves. Some moved underground. Some joined strange cults, believing the aliens were gods. Others prepared weapons of their own, but Rhea knew Nothing built on Earth could fight this. Only the comet could. She stood before the giant window in Titan base. As the comet's frame took shape, it glowed faintly with white-hot light. She whispered to herself, "Let's give them something they've never seen before." 12 days remained. Then came the unexpected. From the alien structure in Jupiter, a signal was sent toward Earth. This time it didn't use symbols or pulses. It sent a sound, not loud, but cold. Everyone who heard it described the same thing. A whisper, a wordless voice that felt like it knew you, that hated you. The sound echoed in the ears of soldiers, children, machines. Some people collapsed. Others screamed. One AI on Earth code named Luck shut itself down, leaving behind only one line of code. "We are the infection, they are the cure." That same day, the alien machine extended a new arm from its body. It pointed directly toward Earth. Juno checked the signal. "It's not a weapon, it's a scan. They're taking everything now. City by city, accelerating," Rhea muttered. "They know we're planning something." 10 more cities vanished in 6 hours. Even underwater settlements were erased. "They're not waiting anymore," Lena said. "We don't either," Rhea replied. "We launched the Comet. Now, a room full of scientists, engineers, and pilots stood ready. They activated the Comet's neural systems. Inside, the weapon hummed like a sleeping god. Rhea stood in front of it. "Your target," she said, "is the center of the machine inside Jupiter. No second chances." The Comet answered with a pulse. It understood. Everyone stepped back. The launch doors opened. A flash brighter than the sun filled Titan's sky as the Comet flew out into space, leaving a trail of white fire. Cameras followed it for 11 hours as it moved faster than anything ever built by humans. At hour 12, it reached Jupiter's atmosphere. The alien machine reacted. Dozens of energy arms reached out from the storm. Some tried to block, others tried to bend the Comet's course. But the Comet learned. It dodged. It burned. It sliced through them like paper. It reached the core. And then impact. Satellites blinked. Lights on Earth flickered. Even Mars shook slightly. A hole opened in the side of the alien machine. It bled black light. The entire structure shifted. The storm around it grew violent. Red waves twisted upward like claws. Then silence. For 5 minutes, no signal came from Jupiter. Earth held its breath. Rhea watched the feed. Everyone stood still. Then Iris, the AI drone, floated into the room. "New data detected," she said. "What kind?" Rhea asked. Iris displayed the new scan. The alien machine was still alive, but now part of it was broken. The structure was incomplete. "Did we stop it?" Lena asked. Juno shook her head. "No, we slowed it down, but they're adapting. They're changing." The machine started growing again. This time, it looked angrier, sharper, like Earth. "They're evolving from the damage," Juno said, "and learning from it," Iris added. Rhea didn't speak. She turned to the hologram map. The city deletions had paused for now. Maybe the machine was distracted. Maybe it was thinking, but one thing was certain. The first comet wasn't enough. They would need more. She looked at the blueprints on the table. There were 7 more comet designs, each one stronger, smarter, one for every region on Earth. The war had officially begun, and now Earth was finally fighting back. The sky above Titan still glowed faintly from the first plasma comet's launch. Its trail of white fire had burned across space like a warning shot. The alien machine inside Jupiter had taken a hit, but it was far from destroyed. Commander Rhea, Carter stood alone in the observation bay, watching the storm clouds of Jupiter shift and boil. The breach they created in the alien structure was already healing, not with metal or machines, but something stranger, like the surface of a living creature closing a wound. "They're not machines," Rhea said quietly. "There's something in between, and they're learning." Iris, the AI drone, floated beside her. "Based on current growth speed, the alien structure will be fully restored in 9 days. Then we hit it again before that happens," Rhea said. On the launch deck, Plasma Comet number 2 stood ready. It was bigger than the first. The engineers had upgraded its AI and strengthened its core with a second star fragment. It could split in 2, 3 fire arcs mid-flight and adjust its shape to avoid attacks. But the enemy would be ready this time, as Earth watched. News channels called it the War of Blueprints. People began to understand this wasn't just a war over land. This was about who would define the future shape of life in the solar system. Would it be human, or something else? Rhea called a private meeting with her tactical team. "This time," she said, "they'll try to stop the comet before it gets close. We need a distraction." Juno, the coder, had an idea. "We still have access to the signal they sent us. The one from Tokyo, Berlin, Cape Town. If we reverse it and send a broken version back, it might confuse their sensors. Rhea nodded. Make it happen. At the same time, the Comet team began fueling the second plasma payload. It took 6 fusion cores just to contain the Comet's energy. One mistake, and the entire moon would burn. Sergeant Dax watched nervously. One wrong flick and we become a new sun. Let's hope it burns the right target. Rhea replied. They prepared to launch. Earth held its breath again. At exactly 19 o'clock UTC, Plasma Comet number 2 launched. Its engines screamed through the vacuum, burning brighter than the last. Rhea's team activated the fake signal. A wave of corrupted alien code blasted toward Jupiter, designed to look like a human surrender. The alien machine hesitated. It began shifting its limbs, pulling part of its outer layer away from the comet's path. Then from the eye of the storm, a new creature appeared. Massive, twisting, alive, not made of metal or skin, but something in between. It floated out of Jupiter's cloud layers, tall as mountains, with arms that split into branches of lightning. Rhea stared at it through the satellite feed. What the hell is that? Juno whispered. The architect. It was the guardian of the alien structure. The one that built and rebuilt, and now it was here to intercept. The architect floated silently through space, its body rippling like liquid glass. It moved faster than any ship they'd seen. The Comet saw it too and reacted. It split into 3 arcs. Dodging to avoid capture, the architect lashed out with a wave of blue fire. One arc was caught, instantly frozen, then shattered. But the other 2 twisted around, rejoined, and shot straight at the city core. They made contact. A white explosion filled the sky, larger than the first one. This time the breach was deeper. The structure shivered. Earth's instruments picked up a strange sound like metal screaming underwater. But the architect didn't fall. It turned and began moving toward Earth. Rhea's command room went dark for 2 seconds. When the lights returned, every screen showed the same image. The alien blueprint, a perfect map of Earth's continents, but no longer empty. The erased cities had been filled in with glowing alien structures, and one city was marked with a red ring. London. They've chosen their next target, Rhea said. But it wasn't fear in her voice, it was anger. She turned to her crew. Prepare the next comet. We're going to defend London with fire. On Earth, panic erupted. Millions tried to flee. Governments scrambled to build shields. But none of it would matter. The only real hope was in space. The Comet engineers worked without rest. Plasma Comet Number A would take at least 48 hours to build. That was too long. Unless Rhea activated a hidden protocol red switch Theta. It was a code buried in Earth's orbital defenses. A fast launch cannon platform, created years ago and never tested. Are you sure? Iris asked. This system was banned by 3 treaties. I'm not asking permission, Rhea said. Do it. The cannon unlocked. The comet would be launched before it was finished. Dangerous, risky, but better than watching another city vanish. As they prepared to fire, another signal came from the architect. This time, it was different. It wasn't code. It was a picture of Rhea, not a photo. A perfect 3D copy of her face, floating in blackness. Then it changed. Her eyes melted into black holes. Her mouth vanished. She was erased. Rhea stared at the image. They're warning me. Sergeant Dax shook his head. No, Commander. They're scared of you. She gave the order. Launch it. Plasma Comet number 3 exploded from the cannon. It spun toward the architect, faster than anything they'd built. The architect moved to intercept, but this time, the comet had a trick. Juno had programmed a ghost signal into its core. It looked like 5 comets were coming, not one. The architect hesitated. Too late. Comet number 3 hit the outer layer of the structure again, this time, hitting a new section that looked like a copy of Tokyo. It melted, gone in seconds. A firestorm spread inside Jupiter's atmosphere. The red spot glowed white hot. The alien structure paused. No signals. No movement. Then the architect stopped. It returned to the main body and vanished into the clouds. Rhea sat down, exhausted. Everyone stared at the silent screen. For now, Earth had 1. But they all knew this was not the end. Rhea looked at the comet logs. 3 launched. 5 remained. And the final one, comet number 8, still had no pilot assigned because it required a manual flight through the storm into the heart of the enemy. She closed the screen. And whispered, we'll finish this, even if I have to fly that last comet myself. Jupiter was glowing again. The great red spot twisted like a bleeding eye in space. But something new was rising from it, tall and slow, like a building made of living metal. It looked like a tower, but it moved like a heart, Commander Rhea Carter watched it from Titan Base. Every 10 minutes, the structure pulsed, not with energy, but breath. The machine isn't just alive, she said, it's evolving. Lena, the lead scientist, showed the scans. It's not using metal anymore. It's growing its parts from something organic. You mean flesh? Asked Dax, the soldier. Not flesh, Lena replied. Something stranger, like liquid bone. They all looked at the structure again. Parts of it bent toward the sun, as if it were feeding. New towers formed and curled upward, shaped like buildings from Earth but twisted. The machine was now over 900 kilometers wide, and it was speeding up. Juno had tracked its energy spikes. Before, it was copying our cities. Now it's replacing them one by one with its own designs. London had been saved by Comet number 3, but new targets had appeared: Buenos Aires and Delhi and Nairobi and Shanghai one by one. The red rings circled cities on Earth's map. The message was clear: finish the structure and delete the original. Rhea activated the next mission. They needed to send Comet number 4 fast, but now there was another problem. The architect, the giant living defender, was gone. It hadn't been seen since Comet number 3 struck, but something else had replaced it. They called it the Shroud. It wasn't a creature. It was a dark field around the machine, almost like fog, but made of nanodust and light blockers. Any satellite or drone that entered it vanished. Even signals couldn't escape. Iris, the AI drone, floated near the projection and zoomed in. Known material can block this kind of frequency, she said. Whatever they've made is smarter than any human tech. Rhea made a decision. We need eyes inside that thing. How? Dax asked. We can't send drones. We can't even send a signal through it. We won't, Rhea replied. We'll go under it. She showed the map. A secret orbital drone from 10 years ago had mapped tunnels beneath Jupiter's storm. Hollow gas channels formed by centuries of pressure. We ride the gas currents, she said. A small ship might survive 5 minutes inside before the pressure kills it. That's all we need. Rhea picked her crew: Dax, Lena, and Iris. They used a tiny vessel called the Needle, a recon pod made for diving into dangerous environments. Its body was flexible like skin but strong like titanium. The mission was simple: enter under the storm, scan the inside of the machine, and get out alive. They launched from Titan within hours. The flight to Jupiter was short. As they neared the storm, everything went silent. No signals, no stars, just darkness. They dove in. At first, it was peaceful. Winds howled around them, but the pod held strong. Then came the pressure. The air itself was crushing. The Needle creaked. Lena held onto her chair. We've got 3 minutes before the hull bends. Rhea didn't blink. Push forward. They passed into the Shroud. Everything turned black. Even the lights inside the ship dimmed. It felt like falling into liquid night. Then they saw it. Inside the storm. The alien machine was no longer just a building. It was a city with veins. Towers moved like arms. Bridges pulsed like lungs. Glowing rivers of energy flowed between spires that stretched for miles, that looked like a brain built out of every city Earth had ever known. Paris, Mumbai, Tokyo, Cairo, even lost cities from history: Atlantis, Babylon, Mohenjo-Daro were copied and reshaped, but all of it was alien. The Needle recorded everything. Then Iris warned. Energy surge detected. Something had seen them. A sharp flash of black light pierced the fog. The ship rocked. Dax grabbed the side controls. We've been marked. The machine sent out tendrils, long spears of living metal, chasing them. Rhea shouted. Turn back. They rose through the tunnel, spinning as the tendrils followed. One strike hit the rear thruster. The pod tilted violently. They were going to crash. Rhea made a choice. She pushed the manual override and fired the emergency plasma arc. Something that hadn't been tested before. A ball of fire exploded from the ship's side, burning through the chasing tendrils. The pod shot upward, out of the storm. They broke through the top and flew back into open space, damaged but alive. On board, the scans downloaded into Iris. Lena checked them. What's inside that machine? Rhea asked. Lena stared at the data. It's not just a copy of Earth. It's a map of how to replace us. The machine was building a new planet inside Jupiter. Once complete, it would activate a pulse erasing every living thing on Earth, and replacing it with these new, synthetic cities. Terraforming, Juno said when they returned. But in reverse, not to make Earth better, to overwrite it. Rhea looked at the comet charts. For comets down, for left, they had slowed the machine but not stopped it, and now the creature was breathing faster. We hit the next one, she said, and we aim for the core. There was silence. Then Iris beeped with one last message from the scan. Text appeared on the screen, not in alien language, but in English. 3 words, "You are late." The words echoed in Commander Ria's mind long after the ship landed. You are late. Who wrote it? The architect? The machine? Or something worse? She didn't know. But she knew this. The enemy wasn't just watching anymore. It was speaking. Back on Titan base, the mood was tense. Plasma Comet number 5 was nearly ready. They had 3 left after that. 3 chances to stop whatever was growing inside Jupiter. But something had changed. The enemy had grown quiet. No new city. Deletions. No new targets. No response at all. That silence scared Ria more than the attacks. They're planning something, she said. Iris, the AI drone, hovered beside her. I have detected an energy buildup from Earth's orbit. From the machine, Ria asked. No, Iris said. From one of our own satellites. That didn't make sense. Ria checked the data. A small satellite near Earth's orbit was sending coded pulses. In the same pattern used by the alien signal, the pulses matched the erasure wave. Someone, or something, was helping the enemy. Her blood ran cold. Ria called an emergency scan of the entire satellite network. Juno ran the search. 10 minutes later, she found it. A stealth satellite human-made had been hacked. Its signal now matched the alien structure's blueprint frequency. It was feeding location data directly to Jupiter. Someone was guiding the machine's aim from inside the solar system. Someone on Earth had turned traitor. Ria ordered the satellite shut down, but before the command went through, it self-destructed too late. Ria stared at the static on the screen. We're being betrayed, and whoever it is, they know how to cover their tracks. She turned to her war council. The room was quiet. Someone high-ranking is helping them, she said. That's how they knew when to shift, when to defend, when to stop attacking, and when to wait. Lena stepped forward. What if they're not being forced? What if they believe in what the machine is doing? It was possible. Maybe they saw the machine as evolution, or maybe they thought humanity didn't deserve to survive. Iris searched for clues, digging into communication logs. That's when she found it. A message buried in an old transmission. Weeks before Tokyo vanished, it came from a deep space station called Arclight 7, hidden in orbit around Neptune. Long deactivated, no crew, but someone had turned it back on. Ria prepared a mission. Suit up, we're going to Neptune. The journey took 6 hours in high-speed warp pods. Ria, Dax, Juno, and Iris made the trip in silence. When they arrived, the station looked broken. Its solar wings were torn. Its core was frozen, but the doors were open. Inside, lights flickered. The station was running on minimal power, but one system was still working, a long-range transmitter. Ria walked into the control room. On the screen, a familiar face appeared. Dr. Kellen Roach, the same man who had vanished 10 years ago, the same one who discovered the Martian probe, but he looked different. Older. Hollow. You're not supposed to be here, he said. Ria stepped closer. You were declared dead. I was, Roach replied, and then I woke up. He explained what happened. 10 years ago, he touched the alien probe on Mars. It didn't kill him. It uploaded him, copied his thoughts, his memories, his emotions. The version that stood before them was still Roach, but also something else. Half of me is still human, he said. The other half is architect. Juno reached for her sidearm. Don't, Roach said. I'm not your enemy. Then stop helping the thing inside Jupiter, Ria snapped. I can't, he answered calmly. Because it's not attacking, it's correcting. What does that mean? Roach looked sad. You call it destruction, it calls it repair. The Earth has become unstable, polluted, broken. Our cities are not balanced. Your wars, your waste, your chaos, it sees all of it. And who gave it the right to erase us? Dax growled. You did, Roach said softly. When you sent Voyager, when you shouted into the stars without knowing who was listening, they heard, and they sent a test. Ria's voice was cold. This test ends now. She raised her plasma pistol. Roach didn't move. I sent the last signal, he admitted. I gave it your launch plans. I gave it Earth's defense layout, and I gave it the comet routes. Why? Ria demanded. Because, Roach said, I want to see the new world, one that works, one without error. You mean without humans, Dax said. But before they could argue more, alarms blared. Iris spun around. Incoming transmission from Jupiter. Real time. The screen filled with a new image, live footage from Earth's orbit. The alien machine had extended a second structure, a black, circular ring, bigger than the moon, and inside it, a weapon. It began to charge. Ria grabbed Iris. What is that? A planet killer, Iris said. If fired, it will erase Earth's surface entirely. Countdown for hours. Roach watched. Silently, you gave them the final key, Rhea said. He nodded. Now the structure is complete. Rhea made a decision. Lock him in. Strip the station of oxygen. Dax grabbed Roach and sealed the door. They didn't kill him, but they didn't need to. He had chosen his side. Back on Titan, they prepared Plasma Comet number 5 for launch, but this time, Rhea wouldn't send it alone. She'd fly with it. The only way to reach the machine's core was to guide the comet in by hand. They launched it full burn. In the cockpit, Rhea strapped in. The stars blurred past her. Her hand shook but her voice didn't. She sent one message back to Earth. If I don't return, make sure the next one flies faster. Cut the feed. She was on her way to deliver fire into the heart of a traitor-built god. The comet ship screamed through space like a flame looking for a fuse. Commander Rhea Carter sat inside its cockpit, strapped tight in the pilot's seat. All around her, the walls glowed with plasma heat. The stars outside were distant streaks. Time stretched, space bent. Behind her, Earth was a blue whisper. Ahead Jupiter. And inside Jupiter. The machine waited. Rhea didn't speak. She couldn't. The silence helped her focus. The comet's control system pulsed with steady light, showing every calculation and simple symbols. The AI inside the ship was awake, now learning from her every thought, every move. It didn't speak in words, but it understood her. They were heading into the machine's core. No one had ever seen it. No one had ever survived it. But someone had to go in. Rhea had volunteered. Back on Titan, the war room watched her ship in silence. Lena, Huno, Dax, Eris, they all tracked the course. The comet had one job: strike the brain of the alien structure. If it hit, the machine would break from the inside. If it missed, Earth would burn. As the comet entered Jupiter's upper clouds, alarms began to sound. Rhea's eyes narrowed. The shroud, the black fog that had swallowed drones and signals, was back. Only this time, it moved. It rolled toward the comet like smoke, chasing a match. Rhea pushed the ship faster. Let's race then. The shroud reached her seconds later. Everything outside went dark. It was like flying through ink. Static filled the cockpit. Then, images. They weren't real. Not memories. Not hallucinations. They were tests. She saw her mother's face, her crew from the old mission, even her younger self, staring back. You failed us, they whispered. She blinked and shook her head. Not now. Not ever. The comet's AI pulsed red for one moment, then corrected. The ship burned brighter, slicing through the shroud. She broke through the other side, and saw it. The core. It wasn't just a brain, it was a star, trapped inside metal veins, like a sun held in a cage. It pulsed blue. Massive bridges of light stretched around it, shaped like the streets of Earth's cities, but broken, shattered, floating in pieces, as if the machine was rebuilding Earth inside itself, over and over, until it got it right. This was what the erased cities had become. Data. Structure. Fuel. She saw parts of London floating in the energy coils, parts of Tokyo, even ancient structures that had vanished centuries ago. All folded into the machine's mind, and in the center, wrapped around the burning blue core, was the architect. It had returned, twisting, watching, waiting. Rhea's hand hovered over the manual trigger. The comet would need a full core burn to strike, but that close, she'd never escape the blast. She breathed slowly, thought clearly. Then she saw something she didn't expect. Inside the core's final circle, a person, a human form, floating, alive. Dr. Kellen Roach, not his copy, the real one. His body glowed faintly with energy. His eyes were closed. He was trapped inside a crystal cell, suspended by energy threads. He wasn't dead. He had been taken. Didn't have time to think. A warning flashed on the panel. Energy spike. Core defense activating. The architect opened its arms. Dozens of tendrils shot toward her. The comet dodged left, spun right, dived under, too fast. Rhea gritted her teeth. She aimed straight for the core, but her path was blocked. The AI pulsed a question. Manual override, she whispered. Yes. The plasma system unlocked. She grabbed the manual lever. It burned her fingers from the heat, but she held it. She aimed the nose of the ship through the center ring, straight at the core, and she whispered, "Time to burn." She yanked the lever. The comet opened. Blue fire poured from its center, plasma hotter than a star, focused into a single beam that had cut through the architect, through the floating bridges, through the walls of the mine-cage. The machine screamed, not in sound, not in waves, but in reality itself. The image of the fake cities shattered. The copies cracked like glass. The core exploded outward, not in fire, but in light. The architect vanished. The machine's inner rings collapsed. The gravity bent. And Rhea was falling. The last thing she saw was Roach, floating toward her. His eyes opened for just 1 second. He mouthed a word she couldn't hear. Then everything went white. Back on Titan, the comet signal vanished. For a full minute, Earth lost contact. Then one by one images returned. The machine's outer limbs stopped moving. The shroud peeled away. Inside Jupiter, the city structure crumbled. Iris announced in the command room. Alien growth has ceased. No energy spikes detected. Signal patterns gone. Juno stared at the screen. We did it. Lena wiped her eyes. She did it. Earth's skies stayed quiet that night. For the first time in months, no cities vanished. People looked up again, and Rhea, her ship was gone. But Iris picked up one faint signal, a life sign, in orbit, near Europa's shadow, alive, floating. No ship. No ship. Just one faint signature. Commander Rhea Carter survived, and whatever she brought back from the core, Earth wasn't ready for that. Not yet. Europa's shadow moved slowly across space, casting a cold blanket over the wreckage. Rhea Carter floated there half-conscious, her flight suit torn, oxygen low. Around her, pieces of the shattered comet ship drifted in silence, her visor cracked, her body bruised, her mind spinning, but she was alive. And inside her chest, just above her heart, something glowed, a shard of blue energy. It pulsed, slow, steady. Not from Earth, not from the comet, from the core. Back on Titan base, alarms screamed. I have a signal, Iris shouted. It's Commander Carter. She's alive. Cheers broke out across the room. Dax punched the air. Lena wept into her hands. But then the signal deepened. Iris scanned again. There's something else. What? Juno asked. She's not alone. The rescue team launched immediately when they found her drifting in the black above Europa. She was unconscious, but floating beside her, untouched by the vacuum of space, was a glowing fragment. A crystal sphere, alive with blue veins, the shard of the machine's heart. They brought both back to Titan. The medical team worked fast to save her body, but Rhea's mind, it was somewhere else. She was dreaming, no, remembering. Inside the core, just before the comet struck, she had seen everything. Not with eyes, but through the machine's memory. Its purpose, its fear, its mission. It wasn't trying to destroy Earth, it was trying to replace something it had lost long ago, a home. The creators of the Architect were gone, wiped out by war. Their machines searched the stars, looking for worlds to rebuild. What was lost? Earth wasn't a target. It was a mirror. The cities it copied were not attacks, they were graves. But when Earth fought back, the machine learned fear. It shifted, adapted, prepared to defend itself. Rhea had shown it something new, choice, and that small act broke the cycle. Back on Titan, Rhea finally opened her eyes. The base went silent. She sat up, holding the blue shard in her hand. This isn't a weapon, she said. It's a seed. They stared at her. What do you mean? Dax asked. The machine left it behind for us. Not to destroy. To understand. Lena stepped forward. Understand what? That we're not the end of life. We're a link in something much bigger. She looked at the Earth on the main screen. It had scar cities lost, people gone, but it was still spinning, still alive. And now, so was hope. The Earth Council called Rhea to speak before the world. Her image appeared in every city, every station, every floating colony. She told them the truth, not just about the war, but what lay beyond it, that we are not alone, and more importantly, we're not the first. The blue shard was placed in Earth's orbit, where it began to grow slowly, like a flower opening in space. Not a weapon, a monument. Built from every city that was lost, a reminder of what was almost erased, and what was saved. The people named it the last city, a place that belonged to no country, no government, just to life itself. Over time, the city would grow, not with concrete or steel, but with energy and memory. A meeting place for those who survived, and maybe, one day, for those still coming. The final Comet weapons were never launched. They were dismantled, because the war was over. Not with explosions, but with understanding. And though Earth had been pushed to the edge, it came back stronger, wiser, together. As for Rhea, she returned to Earth for the first time in years. She stood on the ruined streets of her old hometown, one of the cities that had been marked for deletion but had survived. Children ran past, birds flew again, people planted trees where buildings once stood. She smiled, not because she had won a war, but because the world was finally listening. Far above, the last city glowed softly in orbit like a second moon, waiting, watching, not as a threat but as a promise, that no matter how far we fall, we can still rise.